Hey, you! Yeah, you watching the video! Have you ever wondered what your 7th grade teachers and administrators do over winter break? Well, here's your opportunity to join in on the fun. We want you to join us on our first day back from winter break, which is Thursday, January 5th at 8 a.m. for our first ever 7th grade book talk. How do you join us? All you have to do is choose a book over break and read the book. It's that simple. Then join us in live class at 8 a.m. on our first day back, which is Thursday, January 5th, to share. It's that simple. Not sure what to read? That's okay. We've got you covered. Check out these ideas from other teachers and administrators on what we will be reading over break.
Hey everybody, it's Miss Reynolds here. I am one of the 7th grade language arts teachers at GCA. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what I'll be doing over the winter break. One main thing that I'm so looking forward to is getting a chance to sit down and read some wonderful books that I don't always have time to do. So before I tell you about what I'm going to be reading and what I hope you will read over the break, I want to give you some good reading tips. So these are some things that will help you get in the reading mood. So the first thing I like to do is to always have a comfy place to read. Behind me, I am sitting on my comfy couch. I like to be wearing comfy clothes like a sweatshirt or some pajamas. I always like to enjoy some coffee while I am reading. Also, this is really important, probably one of the most important things. It's really important to have a cozy blanket to read under. You gotta have something to snuggle up to while you're reading your good book. So get yourself a good blanket on hand while you're reading. And finally, it's always good to have on some Santa pajamas and some fuzzy slippers. It never hurts to have those things on. It really gets you in the reading mood. And of course, a beautiful backdrop. I've got my Christmas tree here that I am looking at while I'm reading. So to get you in the reading mood, don't forget sweatshirt, coffee, or you don't have to have coffee. Sweatshirt, comfy clothes, a blanket, and some fuzzy slippers are always a good way to get you reading. Now, to talk about what you should be reading or what I'll suggest for you to read over the break, I want to suggest to you guys, and I don't have the book on me right now, the book The Giver. This book is amazing. I gotta tell you, when I was in 7th grade, that was one of my favorite books of all time. It is wonderful. It's about a young boy kind of finding out that the world that he lives in is not quite what it seems. So once he kind of sees some things under the surface, what does he do about it and how does he work to change things? So I'm just going to give you that little tidbit. I don't want to give too much away, but The Giver, again, is such an amazing book. If you haven't read it, please give it a try over the break. And there's also a movie on it, but don't watch the movie until you've read the book. I promise the book is so much better. So give it a try. I look forward to hearing from you if you read it and any other books that you read when we come back from break. Happy reading.
Hello, my friends. This is Mrs. Kennedy, one of your 7th grade English language arts teachers at Georgia Cyber Academy. So as you know, it is winter break. And winter break is a great time to rest, relax, and catch up on those hobbies that we don't usually have enough time to do. Well, one of those hobbies for me is reading. So I wanted to share with you some of my favorite book picks, and I'm going to be sharing with you some from a variety of genres. So if you have the opportunity to go to the library over this break, that you can look out for these authors and say, hey, I remember Miss Kennedy said that was a good book. Okay, so the first one I'm going to share with you is one of my favorite authors. Her name is Margaret Peterson Haddix. And she does series books, and her books are of the genre, the dystopian genre, which is like an alternate society. Among the Hidden is an awesome series if you are into the alternate type of society. In this society, only 2 children were allowed. And so Luke, the main character, he's a 3rd child. So he has to stay hidden his whole life, or else he and his parents will get in lots of trouble. This is a great series, Among the Hidden, Among the Brave, Among the Barons. Anyways, look it up. Margaret Peterson Haddix, this is another one of her books, series, Found. As a kid starts getting letters saying they're coming for you, and he doesn't know what's going on, and it turns out he is a part of, he was adopted along with another group of kids. He's a part of this society of children. It's awesome. So Found and Among the Hidden, definitely recommend them. Do you like sports? Do you like reading about sports? I do. Mike Lupica, he writes books that all center around the love of the game. So this one is called Travel Team, about basketball. Awesome book. This one's called Heat. Mike Lupica, again, centers around baseball. So he's a great author if you like to read about sports, if you're a sports person. Do you like historical fiction? Hattie Big Sky. This book was so good. I cried. This takes place in the early 1900s America. What was it like to homestead in 1917? This is a great book. Loved Hattie. She is just such a great character. All right, for my final book pick for you, this is my favorite book of all time. Jerry Spinelli, Stargirl. Have you ever met someone who was so unique that you were like, oh my goodness, that person is so cool, I have to be their friend? That's how I felt about Stargirl. Stargirl marches to the beat of her own drummer. She doesn't care what other people think about her, and she is so cool about it. When I read this book, I was inspired. I was inspired to be a better person. I was inspired to be myself, my true unique self. And isn't that what reading is all about? Finding those characters that we can relate to and make us want to be a better person. So I definitely recommend Stargirl. All right. I hope you find a book that you enjoy over this winter break. And if you do, let me know. I'd love to hear a great recommendation from you.
Hi, it's Mrs. Rupert. And guess what I'm going to be reading over the holiday? The coolest thing about these new Harry Potter books that you can order is that they're all illustrated. You can see it's a much bigger book, but when you're reading it, it's got all these really cool illustrations and extra information. So, go back and reread these awesome stories and have you guys a great break. Enjoy your 2 weeks off. See you when you get back.
Hi guys, it's Miss Lounge, your middle school principal, and I'm so excited to do this for Miss Ray. I could not choose one book. I had to choose 2 of my favorite books. So the first book is called Miss Twiggly's Tree, and it was given to me when I was 5 years old, way back in 1969. And this story is about Miss Twiggly, who lives alone and doesn't really fit in with people. And she lives with her dog, and people treat her badly and are sort of mean to her. But one day a disaster happens in the community, and all the people come to Miss Twiggly because she lives in a tree. So I bet you could guess what kind of disaster that is. And this is my little grand dog, Ellie. And they come together and they discover they have more similarities than differences. So this is an oldie but a goldie. And then my next favorite book is The Giver by Lois Lowry. And Miss Lowndes was a 5th grade teacher for many years and used to read her class this book at the very beginning of the year out loud to them. And this is a fantasy, and it's about a community that has no wars, they don't feel pain, but they have no choices. Everybody has exactly the same thing. So you think, wow, that sounds like that would be really groovy to live in. But Jonas, a boy about your age, he's about 12 years old, he goes on a journey to see what it's like to have choices and to have pain, and discovers that maybe that's not such a bad way of living. So definitely check out The Giver by Lois Lowry. Thanks, bye.
Hey, this is Miss Cooper, and I want you to know that I'm a bibliophile. look that up. You can see by my collection here of very, very read books, I like them. I'm challenging you to read one of these classics over the Christmas break. Tale of Two Cities, my favorite, is Rubber Banded. To Kill a Mockingbird, another fave, classic, The Odyssey, or Julius Caesar. These are all great reads, and I want you to stretch yourself. Come talk to us about it when you get back from break.
Hey guys, it's Mrs. Carswell, and I'm so excited to reread one of my favorite books, The Girl Who Could Fly by Elizabeth Forster. The main character, Piper, realizes she has a superpower. She can fly, but not everybody likes that superpower, and she's sent to a school for children just like her, and all of the kids have superpowers, but there is a sinister villain amongst them. It's so awesome, and I'm gonna reread it, and I want you to reread it too, and I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Hey guys, this is Mrs. Hensley, and I just want to tell you about my plans for Christmas break. I love J.R.R. Tolkien. He is the author of The Lord of the Rings. If you've ever read The Hobbit, that's like the beginning of the story, you need to read the trilogy that comes next. Maybe you've seen the movies. Well, they're not as good as the book. No, never are they as good as the book. So, if you've read The Hobbit, I challenge you to read The Lord of the Rings during Christmas with me. You may not get through the whole trilogy, but at least read book number 1. And then when we come back from Christmas, the Thursday, the first Thursday in January, come to class at 8 o'clock, and we're going to discuss that book. And maybe you read something different during Christmas. We might discuss your book too. So get your reading plans in place before Christmas.
Hey guys, this is Miss Ray, and I hope that you found something you could read from all of the amazing ideas from some of our 7th grade language arts teachers, as well as some of our administrators. But if you didn't, I'd love to offer you a few more ideas. So check it out. So first, I love history. And one of the great things I love to do is find fictional books that cover historical events. So this is a series called I Survived. There are about 10 books in all. And they are told they have different protagonists, which are your lead characters in the book. They have different protagonists in each story. The cool thing is it takes non-fictional events, real life events, and it tells it from a fictional point of view. So 2 of the books that I'm going to check out over break are I Survived the Attacks of September 11th, 2001, and then I Survived the Hindenburg Disaster of 1937. There's some other books like I Survived the Joplin Tornadoes, I Survived the Great Chicago Fire, I Survived Pearl Harbor. So if you love history, join in with these teenagers as they go on an adventure. For instance, our I Survived September 11th attacks is told from the point of view of a boy named Lucas who happens to be in the city the day of the attacks. Again, this is fictional, but it's actually a real life event that happened. So those are really cool. 2 of the other books I'm going to check out are actually from an author named Carol Marsh, and she actually lives in Georgia. She lives outside of the Fayette County area. If you're familiar with Noonan, Peachtree City, Fayetteville, that's actually where she lives, and her family lives there as well, and it's told from her grandchildren's point of view, Christina and Grant. And she goes on these different trips with her grandkids. And in those trips, mysteries always happen. Some kind of cool event, something mysterious happens. So 2 of my favorite that I'm going to reread are The Mystery of Disney World, and then The Mystery, The Awesome Atlanta and Mystery. And so I would encourage you, it's really cool because she has over 100 different mysteries. So check these out. Find one of maybe somewhere you've traveled. Those are the most fun to read because then you can say, oh, I've been there. But they're really easy to read, but they're cool. If you like mysteries, check these out. I've really connected with Christina and Grant, the grandkids, in these stories. Like I said, there's over 100 of them. So you will really connect to our leading characters in these stories. But again, we look forward to seeing you in class. On our first day back for live class is Thursday, January 5th. We're going to do our book read at 8 a.m. So be there, be ready to share, and we will see you guys then. Have a great winter break. See you guys next year. Bye.